Hi, Internet. I'm Udoka. Welcome to my humble YouTube channel. It's not many of us over here, but those who are subscribed are subscribed for the vibe. I'm doing a reaction video because some of y'all seem to really enjoy watching me react to things, and it kind of irks me that the door's open. Hold on. Okay, so I'm the kind of person who I love discussions. I was that kid who in college just would not go to bed because I'm at another party, hanging out with other people, just talking about life, just talking. I love that. And it's so cool to be able to build parasocial relationships here uh, on my YouTube. So if you're into that, make sure you watch, and when you finish the video, like it and leave a comment so we can get to know you too. I know I'm late to this party here. Can fat and fit influencers find common ground? And I was watching, as you can see, I'm halfway through, and man, like whenever I watch something and it's just making me feel a little bit more than normal, I'm like, yeah, maybe I should make a reaction to this so we can chat about it on my page. Or people can, ugh, I don't know what's in my nose. People can hear a different opinion. Just so you know, I have a master's degree in clinical nutrition. I was a registered dietitian for some years. Think like Abby Sharp. Abby Sharp, she talks like a dietitian. A natural vegan, not a dietitian, but the way she talks, I'm like, girl, you are an honorary dietitian. It's just the way that she talks. It's not like there's like Mike the vegan. He tries to use research, but he doesn't talk like a dietitian. There's when it when it comes to being a dietitian, there is a science-based aspect to it, and then there's also a what's reasonable, what's realistic, what's sustainable for people. Like, there's like an element of like common sense that you have to add in there, and an element of like just understanding people, like just being a little bit more realistic. Um, So anyway, that's why I like Abby Sharp, and I love A Natural Vegan. Even though she's not a registered dietitian, she does not have a degree in nutrition, but I really enjoy her. So let's watch this because it was making me feel some kind of way. Okay, where do I start? I'm gonna play it a little bit faster too, so that my video is under 45 minutes. Hopefully, we'll see. And let me get out of the way here. Here we go.
About their size.
Step forward if you agree. I promote healthy standards as an influencer.
I think we need to discuss what healthy means first, because healthy means many different things. So, what does health mean to you guys?
For me, I don't focus on diet and weight loss as a tool for health and how I communicate that. I focus on movement and finding movement that works for you, that feels good and is sustainable in your body. Because ultimately, I think everybody would agree, movement is healthy, exercise is healthy. In the fitness world, and I myself am a yoga instructor, so I kind of straddle both sides. I think there's an overemphasis on physicality and diet and exercise.
Personally, I'm a fat guy, and
Hold on. Let me just react to what she said. I love what she said. Promoting movement is so essential. And there's kind of this idea that if you exercise, you should be thin, you shouldn't be fat if you're exercising. And that the goal of exercise is to not be fat. When actually the goal of exercise should be no goal. It should be to just move, because you're a human being with a human body, and the human body needs to be moving to maintain health. And most of us in this, what is the proper term now? I don't want to say developed world or first world. It's a new term, right? But in this Western culture, most of us are very sedentary, which is abnormal for human beings, right? And who knows how your body gained excess fat? It could have been a time in your life where you gained it and you just didn't lose it. It could be something that you're gaining now. It could be there's so many different situations that could have you end up in a fat body. And I think it's good to show fat people can do what is healthy, which is move your body without emphasizing a goal of weight loss. Somebody can be fat online as a yoga instructor and just teach yoga, just be about yoga. You know what I mean? I feel like there's this expectation on big bodies that if they're going to be presenting themselves, they have to emphasize that they're trying to lose the weight. When not really, other influencers don't have that responsibility and neither should they.
And I've been tired of being a fat guy. And I've actually been told that my approach to it is a little bit extreme. So, I'll do like 24-hour fasts. I'll do intermediate fasting, liquid
not
diets,
healthy.
things like that. Some people say it's an unhealthy
Yeah.
habit. They say like I got an eating disorder. But at the same time, I am
Yeah.
seeing results. I do feel like I can run faster, jump higher, walk longer. I kind of feel like when I hear the term fat influencer, I'm thinking like an unhealthy standard being set.
So I want to touch on what he's doing. He sounds like he's just doing anything and everything to try to lose weight, and it will work. If you starve yourself, you will lose weight. If you force yourself to not eat, you'll lose weight. And he's excited about the weight loss. It's kind of like, I don't know. It's like I'll use Tony Robbins, for example. Tony Robbins was born with a tumor in his brain, I believe, the pituitary gland, which was causing him to grow really fast, really tall. I mean, Tony Robbins is big. Like this man, I think how tall is he? Like 6'7" or something like that. He's very tall, very big. Like, you do not want to go toe to toe with Tony Robbins. And, there was a time in his life where the doctors asked him, do you want us to do surgery to remove it because this tumor could bode badly? Research shows that humans who grow too tall have a lower life expectancy. It can cause problems. You may never stop growing. Like, there's just all of these health concerns that the tumor in his brain could cause. However, the surgery is also scary. The surgery to remove it has risks. He could go in and have brain damage or something bad happen. There's risk in the surgery itself. And because of where it was located, the doctors, they were just being very clear of the risk of the surgery. And they really wanted him to really think about, is something we can do. But we also understand if it's something you don't want to go through with and you would rather just take your chances with nature. And Tony decided, I'm going to take my chances with nature because the benefit of doing a certain thing does not outweigh the risks involved with it. And that's how I feel with this guy's dieting. You're doing liquid diets, then you're doing 24-hour fasts. And I've seen many people like this, many people who jump from diet trend to diet trend, and it can really mess up your metabolism long term. I don't know how young this guy is, but if he's under like the age of 25, I really wish he wouldn't do that. when young people do diets like this, it can have lasting effects. The effects are worse the younger you are. So if he was like 12 doing these crazy diets, I would feel inclined to call CPS on the family. But it is unhealthy. Things that he's doing, and he's doing it for the sake of just losing weight when there's healthy ways to lose weight. There's healthy ways to lose weight quickly. So I'm concerned. Right off the bat, I'm concerned about this guy.
I just can't get behind being complacent.
Well, I want to say that it doesn't mean complacency, right? So a little bit about me is that I was a three-sport athlete almost my entire life. Went to college and played a sport, and then I decided I've always been, a big person, and I was able to manipulate my weight because I also wrestled. So I would bulk up for football season, lose for wrestling, and rinse and repeat. Because of that, though, now my approach is really just about making sure that you take care of your total self, so your mind and your body, and also just making sure that you check in with medical professionals. I work in healthcare, and so I don't tend to take advice from people who are not medical professionals.
And I would just like to speak up, like, we're all different. Yeah, there are fat influencers out there that have unhealthy lifestyles.
Okay, I don't want to sound like I'm ragging on the guy at the end. I think his name is Nick with his arms crossed, but I'm noticing his body language compared to everybody else's body language. It's interesting.
Share it, but that's their lifestyle. There are fat influencers that are motivational, that are trying to lose weight. There are fat influencers out there that just are existing in this world and trying to make it accommodating to themselves and people that look like them. So there are so many fat people in this world, and to label them all a certain way or to put them in a category where they have to perform to make you feel comfortable is disingenuous. It's not good.
I love that she said that. It makes me feel uncomfortable. The idea of telling another the idea of telling another human being, you can't exist in a space unless you're performing in XYZ way. It's like respectability politics, right? I've condoned Blair White for having this idea that if trans people just are always on their best behavior, will be accepted. We've, during the whole bonnet debate, right? If you're unaware, there was this whole Black women are going out in public in their hair bonnets, and that's a bad look. And there's people who just really feel like if you're Black, you have to be on your best behavior all the time so that society will accept you. I don't like these kind of ideas because it sounds like you're trying to say my existence isn't valid. I have to monkey dance to be valid. And I don't believe in that. Our Constitution said that all men are created equal. So why are we... I don't like this idea that actually some are more equal than others. You know what I mean? Like Animal Farm. And I never really thought about that. Until I watched this, I never thought about how, if you're fat, there's an expectation of performing fitness that if you're not doing that, people will run down on you. And it's like, why can't they just exist the same way a thin person is allowed to just exist?
To make you feel comfortable is disingenuous. It's not good.
Well, that's what kind of upset me. That's why I started my journey at the end of the day, was because, I was depressed. I lost my job in the midst of COVID, and I'm unhappy with who I am. And then I see someone on social media that's like, it's okay to be who you are. And I was like, you're telling me that the way I feel is okay. But at the end of the day, I hate how I feel. And so it was kind of out of protest that I started this journey. And
so also keep in mind, I've watched more of this guy, so that's how I have formed opinions already. But it sounds like he's seen fat influencers who are saying it's okay to love yourself as you are. And he's interpreting that as, it's like he's equating how he looks with how he feels. So when a body positivity fat influencer is saying you can love, it's okay to be you, he's not interpreting that his existence in a fat body is okay. He's interpreting the negative feelings that he has is okay. And it's like, I don't know, the way he's thinking about it is not what people are talking about. He said he was depressed, he lost his job, and it almost sounds to me like he's blaming his weight on all of these bad things. And it wouldn't surprise me if he were to eventually get to his ideal body weight and still be depressed. I don't know much about this guy. I haven't checked any of their social medias, but I don't know how long he's been dealing with depression. But it's not uncommon for people who have chronic, severe depression in the early stages of learning about it. And I'm speaking as somebody who has depression. It's not uncommon to kind of misplace the cause of that depression. And then it's a whole nother topsy-turvy mind frame you get into when you fix what you thought was at fault and you still feel horrible.
I'm damn glad I did. At the end of the day, you're doing a disservice to the people around you that care about you, whether it be close, relatives, society, etc. And to see someone use a platform like that as a fellow fat kid my entire life, it just pissed me off.
I hear what you're saying and it's valid. I've been fat my entire life. I was a fat kid, fat teenager, fat adult, just fat. And that is not my story. And I see that played out over and over and over again in the world, in art, in TV, in movies, like the sad fat trope, nobody's gonna want you. And that plays into the way we treat fat people, but that is not everybody's story. So I hear that you were sad, you were unhealthy, you were uncomfortable, you were isolated, like we can all relate to that, but that is not the story of every fat person.
Yeah. I wonder how he feels about that because he was shaking. Listen, we know the research, right? Even Abby Sharp, when she started her YouTube channel, she was incredibly body positive around fatness. And then as she goes along in her YouTube career, maybe I've experienced the same thing. There's things that I would say in an earlier video, and then I would realize how people are receiving it and then start to try to tweak what I'm saying. We know that excess body fat increases risk for everything. It sucks that a lot of times people who are overweight and obese, they'll have some kind of issue and they'll go to a doctor who will just automatically say, just lose weight, it'll fix the issue, because that's not true. But what we do know is the excess body fat can exacerbate the issue. So there is a problem in the medical field where there are doctors who act like excess body fat cause an issue rather than understanding it exacerbates. And we know this, so we say it's just healthier to just not have the excess weight. It's healthier to, if you gain the excess weight, to get rid of it, especially once you get a diagnosis, especially then, right? We know this. At the same time, we understand that people are people, right? So it would be irrational to tell smokers that their entire life identity needs to be all about quitting smoking. It wouldn't make sense to tell people who drink alcohol, if you drink alcohol more than once a week, to tell them their whole identity needs to be about no more smoking. Like, just name the vice. Name the vice. Name the unhealthy for you thing. You name it. We eat too much meat in this country. It would be unrealistic to tell people that their whole identity needs to be about stopping every unhealthy thing about themselves and about their lives. And that's not real. And there's nothing wrong with fat people being allowed to just be real people. And it really bothers him. It seems to really bother him that there are fat people who, I don't know if the other two are like they want to remain fat. I don't know. But it just strikes me as interesting that he seems visibly agitated to hear a fat person say that they don't feel like a miserably depressed person due to their fatness. That's a problem. You shouldn't be feeling miserably depressed. If you feel miserably depressed, like that's a problem that it's a problem that requires working on in here. And even if we fixed everything here, even if we gave this guy a 6-figure job, Captain America body, big mansion, beautiful, sexy wife, whatever he's wanting in life. Oh, dude, I'm telling you, that's not going to fix what he's feeling inside.
I am on a journey to like myself in my skin. And that is something I believe is obtainable through hard work and dedication. I mean, nothing else worked, you know? Loving yourself, quote unquote, made me eat KFC 3 times a day and gain a lot of weight. I turned 7.
Yeah, well, that's not loving yourself. That is eating your feelings. Oh, no. Yeah. It's like he heard this narrative and which is not uncommon. Like, there are little taglines and little quotes in life. And if you can take it the wrong way and it's not actually helping you. I used to be so into like self-development books and all that stuff. And I would just try to follow them to the T, and it would make me so miserable until I was like, dude, if there's a philosophy or way of thinking about something that's not helping me, and it turns out I'm not thinking about it in the way the author intended, it's totally fine to just be like, that's not for me.
Hating myself encouraged me to be different and encouraged me to change my life. And as a result, I've influenced thousands of kids younger than me's lives.
Fat shaming is worse than skinny shaming.
When you thin shame somebody, it is based off of aesthetic. Like, oh, you're so skinny. I wish I could be like that. I wish I could eat whatever I want and stay skinny. There are these assumptions we have about people in fat bodies that we don't place on thin people, even if...
That's interesting. That's an interesting point. When I think of skinny shaming, I'm thinking of like Eugenia Cooney, like people who look like they're wasting away. That's what I think of when I think of skinny shaming. But I know what she's talking about too.
If they're thin beyond health. And it really makes it so that fat people are overlooked, and it creates an environment where it's okay to perpetuate hate and even violence, you know?
Being thin won't limit you from being able to shop where you want to shop. You can walk into a clothing store, get clothes right off the rack, sometimes even have access. You could go up or down the rack. In my experience, those are not my options. I shop on...
Yeah, I used to argue with people on Clubhouse. They'd be like, thin privilege isn't a thing. And I'm like, yes, it is. Can you comfortably fit in your car seat? Yes. Can you comfortably fit in an airplane seat? Yes. If you were fat, would you be able to do that? No. That's the privilege. Like, the privilege is that you literally never have to think about your weight because life is accommodated to that. I mean, you can decide if nobody's saying that it shouldn't, like, we have to make everything extra large. I think they should make things to fit the average body of the population that will be using that said thing. But, to be able to live life, it's like, is there regular height privilege? Yes. Like, Tony Robbins has to duck. If Tony Robbins came through that door, he would have to duck. Okay, I don't have to duck. I have the privilege of being the size the door was made for. So I get what he's saying totally.
Online because I wear a size 15 shoe, because I'm 6'2", and
Exactly.
I have a
It's kind of like there's little booty privilege for sure. There, like, if you have a bigger booty, if you have one of these, like, your back, there's your back and then your booties like that, it's harder to find. You have to go and find jeans. For the longest time, the makeup industry was not about brown skin, so you had fair skin privilege because you can go to the department store or any place and get the foundation that matches you. Then Fenty came and blew it up. She showed that actually people of many shades also want to wear makeup. So I am going to become a billionaire to prove it to you. But I totally get what he's saying.
body.
The skinny shaming, there is that backhanded compliment. You see that all the time. But when it comes to the fat shaming, you just see more negative out of it. And I just, it's horrible to see.
But being fat is still taboo, believe it or not.
Yeah.
My partner and I'm a gay man dating another fat black gay man, and we have gone viral on the internet a couple times. And you know what some of the
I love how he was like, he forgot he was code switch. He's like, I'm married to another fat black cat. He was like, oh wait, I'm a mixed company. They may not know what I mean when I call my partner a cat.
comments were, never seen two fat people together. I get pats on the back for posting a picture at the beach with no shirt on. Why am I being patted on the back for that?
Yeah, you're so brave. Dude, I don't know, bruh. Imagine you go to the beach and someone tells you you're so brave. Oh.
Can they disagree or step forward?
Well, when I hear fat shaming, skinny shaming, all that stuff, I just think back to like middle school, high school, picking on kids. It's bullying. I believe everyone goes through body dysmorphia. One of my homegirls is a model, and she's always complaining how she doesn't like the way she looks, even though like 99% of all women would probably prefer they looked like her. She hates the way she looks, and she's like, I wish my boobs were bigger. I wish my butt was bigger. I believe, that's the media, that's the entertainment industry, is they have a standard of what, at the end of the day, is desired, I guess, but not everyone's built like Marilyn Monroe.
You said 99% of women would probably want to look like her. That's to me, some of the language that is the problem. Is that I'm assuming that she's probably of a thinner body, right? Because she's a model, but a lot of women don't. It's okay. Your body is.
Yeah, I don't want to be model body. My ideal body is Tiana Taylor, period. Point blank, period. You can't change my mind. If I could have anyone's body, it would be Tiana Taylor. But the thin, lanky aesthetic of models, the Kendall Jenner look. No, we don't all want that. I do not want, dude. It's not attractive to me. I don't want that. And what's funny is, he talks about Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn Monroe did not have that body. Marilyn Monroe had closer to Tiana Taylor's body, a little bit thicker. There's proportion. There's the friend he's talking about that's a model probably wishes she looked more like Marilyn Monroe. So this guy's about to say this is an issue of just the way we think about bodies, and even the way this guy on the screen now, his name is Zach. I think his name is Zach, right? The way he's talking about it, he's equating it with desirability. Model is desirable. Marilyn Monroe is desirable. So model equals Marilyn Monroe, when actually, no, not at all. Marilyn Monroe's body is not model standard. Marilyn Monroe's body was never the model standard. She would not be the model standard today, even though today is becoming more flexible. We're having different types of bodies, but her body would not. She wouldn't be able to be a traditional model. She would have to clout chase her way into modeling.
So you are the standard. You are the model. You are
Yeah.
the beauty. Like the fact that we think like that already is still what the problem is, and it's still why to me fat shaming is worse than the skinny shaming. Because like even our language, I know people just desire this really thin body. You know, it's like that's the language in the language. When I get negative comments about my relationship with my partner, I kind of like to troll back. For example, if I tweet a picture of us kissing or dancing, people will spew the homophobic slurs and stuff. So I like to then just share more pictures of us kissing and really double down into it and let them know, honey, you know, we're here to stay. The girl's
I'm a
not
troll
going
too. I like
anywhere,
to troll
you know,
back.
and just letting them know that I'm confident in myself. I'm happy, I'm in love, and I'm living my life.
I don't think I've ever been shamed for my body. I was always moving. I was always, I stayed fit my whole life. To be a fitness influencer, you have to have that image, that skinny, fit, tone look. That's really not the case.
Already,
if
I
you
like
have the knowledge,
her.
if you have the passion to want to help people with their fitness journey, it doesn't matter. I highly believe that.
I don't know. I can just tell. I like her. I can just tell she's realistic and she actually cares about the messaging that she's putting out into social media.
I feel pressure to look a certain way for my followers.
I'm really surprised he's the only one.
Yeah, I started. I'm a fat
I'm surprised because what I've noticed is when a fat influencer starts losing weight, they get a lot of their fans get upset. And I'm actually surprised that the fit influencers don't feel pressured to have a certain body either. It's interesting.
fat kid losing weight, man. I got an expectation to uphold. I get people all the time, haters, that are like, oh, he's gonna quit, crash diet, blah blah blah. But then, there's kids that tell me, you got me out of bed today. You're the best person on the internet. Like, I love you. If I can motivate someone, one person a day.
I think, dude, okay, maybe I'm sorry. I know I'm picking on this guy, but I don't know. It's just screaming to me. It sounds to me like he just found a niche that he's receiving validation and love from. And I think that's what he cares more about. I think he cares about feeling validated, feeling loved, feeling appreciated, feeling like he matters to somebody. Bruh, I don't know. I'm picking on him too much.
To do something, to better themselves, I'm going to do everything in my power to keep myself going. And that means not quitting. And that means looking a certain way, always developing, always growing. And, because if I quit, I'm letting down thousands of people.
He's so nervous. Well,
I
I'm
used to feel a
proud
lot
that
of pressure,
he's putting
but
himself
I
out
think
there.
with practice, you get over those pressures, you learn how to deal with it and understand that the
he's been
pressure is
through
really
it.
from yourself. It's internalized. Like you're thinking about what others think of you, when in reality they could care less. They don't even see the little things.
That's exactly it. I think we should stop worrying about what other people think.
But it's so
that's-
hard. I
Okay,
mean,
so it
kids
sounds
say
like
that
they've
every day
been through it and they got
still think
over
about
it.
what people think.
It is.
That's
We all
good.
do. We all do. But that's something that is a good challenge for all of us. That's something that we need to really just try. And once we get on that road, it's not easy. We're gonna have days where we're just gonna be like, oh, he thinks, I think. But if we can get past that, even just a little bit, it's just gonna make our lives even easier. Just stop worrying about other people. Worry about yourself. Yeah.
I also just feel like, like everybody else, this is my account, and you are a guest here. I have had to learn to not be that way. So, and for Nick, I understand that your social media and your journey is very different. Like I could clearly see how people or your following would have those expectations for you to continue to lose the weight. It's like, okay, well, we joined this guy so that we could join his journey on his weight loss, so we won't.
Sorry, I was just laughing because he said your journey is very different, and I'm just thinking, whatever. I'm not laughing at anybody.
You want to see him doing the weight loss, like you better not like plateau or gain. I could definitely see that.
Well, it's a sense of accountability, and it really helps me keep my shit going. Otherwise, I would have dropped out a long time ago, to be honest. And I don't do like this is how to do a curl and things like that. I just do like how I feel. I sort of have a self-deprecating outlook on myself and how I feel, and it's sort of like a military style thing. Like you're trash.
Yeah, he's one of those. Now, I've been around people who I don't know. When I was at my toxic work environment, I was just surrounded by people who love that. Like they just love the you think you're ish. You ain't ish. Like they just love that tough love, which I later realized no, that's actually just somebody who's unhinged. And if somebody complains about it, they try to paint it in a different color and call it tough love, but actually that's just an unhinged narcissist talking to you. Yeah, I know. And also, I was able to tolerate it. And I was also used to it because that's how I was raised. I was raised in a very deprecating manner. I was just used to it. I just kind of felt like that's normal. That's the thing. And listen, I'm not for it anymore. I'm not interested in it anymore. I've had my fill. I've had my fill, but I get that some people that's their love language.
Like, you will never be good, just give up type thing to myself.
I think that's interesting that you say that because
Very
the
interesting.
content that I post is not just for people. It's mostly for me, and it's part of my own. It's like it's cathartic to see myself in like sweating, like trying to do a headstand and falling, or looking glam for an event, and everything between. So being authentic and like showing up as I am, whether people like it or not, or expecting it or not, is an exercise in self-love. It helps me accept myself. I was really shy as a kid, and also overweight or fat. I think the misconception is that I wasn't intelligent and that I was lazy. Like that's a lot of the bullying I got, right? Yeah, I don't think I dealt with it well. It wasn't until later in life where I started to kind of reject that narrative.
Weight loss programs are toxic.
Fitness promoters are promoting these weight loss programs or these diets that aren't working for everyone. And it's kind of sad to see because it's really affecting people and like the way they see fitness and health, and it's toxic.
I think, and the focus is always, or it seems to be like, just lose the weight, just lose the weight, just lose the weight, and then you'll be happy and everything will be okay and you'll feel good and you'll finish that. But it's like, whoa, I can lose all that weight and I can still be miserable.
Personally, in my journey, one of my
Yep.
biggest points is I do not use a scale because goals to me are limitations. And when you hit that goal, you get comfortable, AKA complacent. You're like, oh, I'm gonna lose 10 pounds and then I'm good. And so I don't focus on the weight, I focus on everything else. I focus on, getting out of bed, that routine of going to the gym, that routine of eating healthy, that normal
Dude,
feeling.
what he's describing to me is it's like I mean, all of those things are good for weight loss, but they're also really good for depression. Like to force yourself to have a routine, get up out. The fact that he's bringing up getting out of bed, I'm just like depression. That's depression. Like people who aren't depressed don't like getting up out of bed is like it's like a no-brainer. Like they don't think about that. They don't think about it enough to feel like that's part of the routine. I don't know. The depression, but what he's done is he's created a routine, and that's so helpful for those with depression.
Of like a caloric deficit and things like that.
That's a good way to do it too. I'm a fitness trainer too, and I tell my clients, I'm like, the scale really doesn't tell you much. You're gonna fluctuate. It's water weight. It's a lot to it. You gotta look at yourself in the mirror. You gotta see those physical changes.
I don't even think it's the physical changes, because I'm gonna be straight up. I probably had body dysmorphia for a little bit, and I would always like check myself in the mirror. Like after eating, I would check myself because I wanted to keep a six-pack because the fitness industry told me that I needed a six-pack. You hear fitness influencer, and like the first thing you think is like weight loss program, selling a course. And I purposely wore this shirt this morning just to see like if there would be any extra bias. One thing I noticed about fitness, being in the space for so long, is that just because you're into fitness doesn't mean you're into health.
I'm so glad he said that. Yeah. Bruh, there are so many. Yeah. Fitness does not equal health. That's a whole nother topic.
I told everyone that I dealt with body dysmorphia, and I think in terms of dealing with it, it's just learning that my value is not completely tied to my appearance. There's so many other things that I can see value in myself now. I really do enjoy the autonomy I have over my own health and my own wellness.
I have suffered from eating disorders.
Everybody. Damn.
I didn't realize it until a couple years after, but I was tracking like every food. I did track calories, macros. Man, I had my scale and I would bring it like to the college's dining hall. I would like weigh everything.
Yeah.
And it would get to the point where I would either eat before going out, like if I knew my friends were gonna go out to eat, I would eat at home so I could measure all the food out, put it into my fitness pal, and then go out and not eat with them. Or I would probably just not go out at all.
Food and fitness
Damn.
really took over my life for a few years. I was super
Damn.
obsessed with just, getting that goal weight or looking good.
But that's how he knows fitness doesn't equal health. That's how he knows, because I'm sure to everyone else watching him, they're like, wow, you're just so fit. You know what I mean? When you have a behavior that's actually not healthy, but the outside world like kind of admires it, you know? So it kind of like reinforces it. And I mean, that's just so amazing to me. It's so amazing to me when people are able to recognize what they need and start a journey to fix it.
and everything like that. And I found myself just super depressed. And I, didn't eat the foods I wanted to eat. And I over-exercised, and I wasn't myself. It was just a horrible point in my life, and I had to go see a doctor. I had to get that help. Mentally, I wasn't there. So these things are real. Like, this stuff happens, and people
I
don't
don't know,
reach
it's
out
making me
enough.
tear up
Last time I
because
had really
I don't know, I
restricted
feel
my
really
eating,
proud
and
of
it was, like,
them. It's
almost 30
just one of
pounds
the
in, like,
most beautiful
11
things
days,
I love to
and,
see in life.
I did that, and I stepped on the wrestling mat, and I had absolutely no strength. I had no energy, no strength. I got whooped. I got tossed up and down the mat. And then after that, I told myself that I would never do it again. But of course, out of bad habits, I just picked up another bad habit and then began to enjoy binge eating. And then it was like, okay, well, now I'm not restricting anything, and now everything goes.
And how are you now?
Now I'm much better. Therapy, medication, everyday practicing, doing the right kinds of things. I'm much better now.
I suffered from an eating disorder. I had childhood trauma, and it took me until my adulthood to realize I was pacifying with food, and that's something that was taught to me. And then on the other end of that, with extreme dieting, like I did the HCG protocol, where you eat 500 calories a day and give yourself an injection for months on end. And so I have done the full spectrum.
The 500 calorie diet, was that something with like a medical professional that they recommended?
Yeah,
I mean, how was that? Like, I can.
Wow.
it was traumatic. It drove me
Wow.
into a spiral.
my
Like I can relate
God.
to what you're saying about like bringing your scale and eating.
Dude, that could not have been an MD or DO. That had to be like some kind of health coach or naturopath. I don't know, bruh. I mean, I can believe it they're out there, but it's just so hard for me to believe that a licensed clinical physician is recommending the HCG diets. Oh my God.
Before you went out with your friends, because that was me. It's really, it's taken so much time for me to get to a point to even know what I like to eat. And it took me until like 25, 30 to even realize, okay, I don't actually like eating that. I actually don't like this. I like this. And it's been really healing to like reclaim my relationship with food and to say like, okay, this is what I like and this is what makes me feel really good.
As a fitness influencer, what are some things I can do that helps out the other side, which would be fat influencers? What are like certain things that you guys promote that you could see me promoting?
Really want people to stop looking at fat people and all of a sudden becoming medical professionals and telling me about high blood
Thank
pressure
you.
and diabetes, because again, you're not a medical
Thank
professional.
you. Concern troll. That is called concern trolling, where they're trying to be negative on you under the guise of concern. Because all of a sudden, you're the health expert. All of a sudden, because that person's fatter than you, you're the health expert. Get the hell, dude, I can't deal. I hate concern trolling. People don't recognize when they're doing it. So every time I see it, I call it out.
Professional, right? Let's let the fat people do the mukbangs too, Like if you want to do one,
Yes.
that is so cool. But if a fat person
Bruh. Like, I don't know what I was listening to. I was listening to Abby Sharp. I don't know what video it was, but she was talking about how like Skinny people are allowed to mukbang and fat people get ridiculed for mukbanging. And it's like, it's the same behavior. Like, if you don't like mukbanging, then you shouldn't be okay because the person mukbanging is skinny. Like, just because the person is skinny doesn't, it's still engorging yourself. You know, like, oh my gosh, this guy is saying it.
Do one. Let us just do it in peace.
Let
That would be my
just
takeaway. 'Cause you
allow
never know what we're
people
doing
to
behind the scenes. You don't know how
exist.
many therapists, how many doctors, dietitians. You have no idea how many things that people.
I want to know a little bit more about the beauty standard on, we're in 2021 and it's not like back in the day now. Are we making the right direction? Is that
Oh
good?
Lord, of course he asked that question. I knew that's what he was gonna ask.
I think it's reactive. It's good. Like,
yeah.
visibility is important. I've talked about this before earlier. I think that we all deserve to be represented, no matter what we look like, no matter what the status of our health. We should all see each other, ourselves in the world. So I think, yeah, there is progress being made. There are brands that are making sizes that more people can wear. We are seeing body diversity on magazines and things like that, but it's very reactive and it's very tied into commerce and marketing. So is it real? I don't know.
It's not
But
real.
It's part of our culture and it's slowly shifting for whatever reason, like regardless, it will eventually have an impact on society as a whole. So yes and no.
Is it going to promote people to think it's okay to be overweight?
Here's the thing, people have been fat since people have existed.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't think that showing us as we are is going to have a negative impact. We are here. We have always been here. You can go to the Louvre and see
Yeah.
sculptures of fat people. Fat people have always been around.
People have always been
Being a
fat.
fitness
Like,
influencer.
yeah, it is. I get what she's saying. He's kind of like implying back in the day, people weren't fat just because fat people weren't so visibly on display or, celebrated. It meant the fat people went away. Now, I will say this, the obesity rate is always increasing, right? Like, however many years ago, 1 out of 10 obese, 2 out of 10. Now it's 3 out of 10. It's approaching 4 out of 10 obese. And I personally don't think it's because of the media. I mean, being fat, just like they said, being fat is still taboo. Like, it doesn't matter how many Grammy awards. I'm sorry, Lizzo. I hate that Lizzo is always the example, but it doesn't matter how much success an obese person achieves or doesn't achieve. It doesn't matter how much you try to repress obese people from being in the limelight. People will still gain excessive weight because we live in a capitalistic society. We live in a society where the government is not controlling advertisements of fattening foods and excess sugars. The Super Bowl is sponsored by Pepsi. Drink Pepsi. There's McDonald's commercials every other second. There is fast food restaurants on every block. They're starting to offer healthy options, but they're not advertising the healthy options on every magazine page. They're just saying it's there and you can choose it. But when you live in a society that is hyper focused on food, and especially hyper focused on foods that will cause you to gain weight, it's no-ish, Sherlock. People are going to gain weight.
It's good to see that perspective from everyone too. We all have our differences, but as long as we stay on the path that we want to stay on, healthy, mentally, physically, emotionally, we're going to be okay. And it's okay to get help. It always is okay to get help.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Okay, so we are done. Let me know what you think in the comments and what you think of my comments. We've been chatting for, you've been with me for almost an hour. So now that you know a little bit about what's on my mind, I want you to share what's on yours in the comments. If you like this, give it a like. If you vibe, subscribe. Until next time, much love, much luck. Peace out.